If you could get rid of your anxiety altogether in less than 5 minutes, would you do it? Luckily, there is an effective technique that I personally use several times a week that completely destroys my anxiety. I'm going to show it to you, and if you stick around to the end, I'm even going to give you an extra special resource so that you can maximize how much anxiety that you get rid of. You see, after college, I struggled with constant anxiety, and it seemed like no matter what, I could never let it go. And I always felt stressed, anxious, and it ruined many parts of my life, my friendships, job opportunities, and I just felt overall unfulfilled. After learning this super simple technique, I was able to let go of my anxiety, start my business, and find the girl of my dreams. I know, it sounds like a bad infomercial, but wait, there's more. Before we get into the technique, we need to understand what anxiety is and how this technique targets it so effectively. Anxiety is basically the feeling of being worried about something. It's a fear, but instead of being afraid of something that's happening right now, you're afraid of something that might happen in the future. There's one more place anxiety comes from. And it's not just from our fears of the future, but it also comes from people that are around us. This is something that not a lot of people are really aware of. You see, emotions are contagious, but when we are around an emotion for so long, it affects us quite differently than if we have the emotion ourselves. Imagine you have a friend that's super worried about world events, and they watch the news all the time, and they keep talking your ear off about all the things that they're worried about. What person might get elected, or what another nation might do, or what might happen with the stock market.
Run for your lives! Everyone run for cover!
Are you going to feel good after that conversation? Probably not. You're probably going to feel a little anxious about what they're talking about. This is called a carried emotion. Carried emotions are a lot harder to process because they're not yours. They're someone else's. Luckily, this technique does help with carried emotions and your own emotions. Now that we know two of the most common sources of where anxiety comes from, let's jump into this technique to help you fix this anxiety as quickly as possible. There are 3 things you're going to need. A quiet space where you can relax. This could be your room, a coffee shop, or really anywhere that you feel comfortable and can relax. A piece of paper or a journal, and something to write with. Pen, pencil, take your pick, and heck, use a marker if you want. I don't care. And there are 2 things that make this even better. 1, if you've got headphones or earbuds, bonus points if they're noise canceling. And number 2 is me. I'll be your guide through this video. A guide actually makes this a lot simpler. I'll explain the technique very quickly, and then we can try it together. So this technique is called the stream of consciousness. The idea is really simple. I want you to write down every single thought that goes across your mind onto the paper. Sounds too simple, right? Well, before you write it off as just a gimmick, let me explain the 2 roots of anxiety that it perfectly targets. Getting your thoughts out of your head and on paper is extremely important because your brain can only technically focus on one thought at a time. When you write down your thoughts, you don't have to juggle the thought anymore. Now you can think about the thought because the paper is acting like a second brain for you. It's holding that thought so that your brain can do all the processing instead of having to hold it. And the other thing it does is it helps slow down the anxious thoughts. Writing is naturally slower than just thinking, and when we limit the speed of our thoughts by writing, it becomes a lot easier to process them and let go of them. Kind of like how it's a lot easier to make a sharp turn in your car when you're going 5 miles per hour versus 60 miles per hour. The rest of this video is going to be a practical hands-on. It doesn't do any good to watch these kind of videos and get the theory without actually practicing it. So if you have everything ready, we'll begin. If not, pause the video, go grab your stuff, and then when you get back, just unpause and we'll begin. Here's the list of supplies on screen again if you need it. So here's how this will go. I'm going to give you a prompt to get your brain thinking in a particular direction. I want you to pause this video and write for 1 to 2 minutes after I give you the prompt. After the 1 to 2 minutes, unpause and watch for the next prompt. We're going to make sure to target your own emotions as well as any potentially carried emotions. All right, let's begin. What is making me feel anxious? When did I start feeling this way? Did this feeling come from myself or from someone else? What is one thing I can do to protect myself from this future worry? Is this thing I'm anxious about even likely to happen? Or do I have any evidence that it's not likely to happen at all? And one bonus prompt here at the end, what would my role models say if I told them I had this anxiety? What advice might they give me? And that's it. These 5 simple prompts often completely get rid of my anxiety. Most of the time, anxiety goes away on its own once we're aware of the source. Anxiety is kind of like the monster hiding under your bed. As soon as you shine your flashlight underneath your bed, it goes away. Your awareness and these journal prompts are that light. As a small thank you for sticking around to the end, I want to give you something special like I promised. I have a PDF of 20 more journal prompts in the link below, totally for free. Go download that PDF and use those journaling prompts to help you let go of anxiety anytime it comes up. As you look through these questions, you'll see that there are these questions in the video as well as others that I personally use whenever anxiety comes my way. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested in more ways to help with anxiety, check out this video next.